let's talk about some ballot initiatives. And the first one we'll get into, we've talked about quite a bit on this program, and that is casinos. Up for voters in New York, and we love the language out of it. Dominic rolls his eyes at me, but I love it. It's like, if you love your family here and you want to salute the flag, vote yes on casinos. I'm paraphrasing it, but not by much. They would have 7. We're not talking little ones. Vegas-style casinos throughout New York State, primarily upstate here. And that is on the ballot right now. We were talking in the break, Congressman, that this is happening everywhere. It used to be you had them in Atlantic City and you had them out in Nevada. Then we saw them proliferate, including your state being one of the first ones to be added to the list from Mohegan Sun.
And the argument was, you know, then people from Rhode Island and Massachusetts and New York are going to come. Well, they're going to come until Rhode Island and Massachusetts and New York have their casinos. And then it's going to kind of just take money from within the state. And it's money that's spent as a discretionary money that would have been spent at restaurants and other places locally. And so it impacts businesses.
But isn't the argument that New Yorkers, at least, are already heading to Connecticut, to the casinos there, or heading to Atlantic City or Pennsylvania?
That's
so
true.
why not keep that money in-house?
And if you're in New York, you want to vote for it, you could, and that would be a good argument. Probably the best one you can make.
The most compelling argument I thought for it is, if you look at where these casinos are, it's not like, and I've been to the casinos in Connecticut here, there are industry around there, or there are things to do and everything else. It's the middle of nowhere. Some of these places, these casinos are where time forgot. You know, you go up in the Catskills, you'll see boarded up old resorts here in a time that once was. If you have any pulse and you're youth and you have any opportunity, you're leaving as soon as you can. There's no reason to stay around. Not that a casino is the panacea by any means, but my argument to everyone else when they oppose it for legitimate reasons is, then what else do you put here? So I think that's going to drive it. But you said it before, a lot of political capital.
So they built them in New York City, and eventually they'll have one in New York City.
Yeah, I mean, the appeal, or at least the sales job the governor did was, I won't try and put it all down south. I'll try and put it up north so we get some of the northern Democrats and even some of the other Republicans to go on board with this. But he spent a lot of political capital trying to push this thing through so he can get his tax cut next year.
It looks like it's going to work. And let's not forget the southern tier around the Elmira area of New York. There are some areas, as you mentioned, Richard, of the state that, I mean, you have to, and I know the congressman has been to these areas, but you have to go there and look for yourself. And you're like, my God, how do these people survive? Where did they get their tax space from?
All these manufacturing cities that were great that disappeared.
If New York cared about manufacturing, they would allow natural gas to be taken advantage of. I was just speaking to a powerful political person in Ohio. They are thrilled that New York doesn't want to have the income that Texas has.
We're going to get into a fracking debate maybe another night here because two other ones.
But I'm just making the point that we somehow think our future is in gambling. No, our future is reducing the price of energy and bringing manufacturing back to the Northeast. That's the kind of debate we need.
Let's just, before Andrew jumps out of his seat there, let's just maybe agree to disagree that there is a mixed record as to how, forget about even the safety and all the other issues, just how profitable the industry is. And we can go to our friends in Pennsylvania where they point to maybe a mixed bag. I know there's two sides to the argument.
Different kind of gambling, right?
Yes. All right, another closely watched ballot measure is in New Jersey. And this one is really interesting because it's not just about raising the minimum wage. Voters there will decide whether to boost that minimum wage $1 to $8.25 an hour and keep raising it with the cost of living in years to come. And Andrew, I'm not sure everybody has their hands around. This is not a one-time vote. You keep adjusting this to the rate of inflation.
Yeah, so if the rate of inflation goes up, 1/2 of 1%, then you'll raise the minimum wage from $8.25 to, well, whatever 1/2 of 1% on $8.25 is.
Yes.
I didn't get that done that quickly. And that would actually put the state, it wouldn't be the highest minimum wage in the country, but it would be on the leading edge of states when it comes to ticking that minimum wage to the cost of living. That's something that's not in a lot of places. And it's interesting because Governor Christie doesn't like the idea, but he's going to win by a landslide tonight, we think. And so far the odds are, or the polls show that this is going to pass tonight. So it's another indication, and there you see, by nearly 2 to 1, in the last poll. So
And
very interesting.
I think, Andrew, this one, just like the court's decision on gay marriage in New Jersey, this is manna for heaven for the governor. He doesn't have to fight these things. He can let this be decided at the courts or the ballot box and not on his desk and let this play out. This is only a good thing for him politically.
But, you know, it's interesting because sometimes politicians don't like controversial issues on a ballot because it can screw them up.
Yeah.
And somehow he's managed to.
There's a little bit of good fortune to him also. On the gay marriage issue, it was not in his best interest to keep fighting it. But once the courts did it, he said he wouldn't stand in the way of the court's decision. I mean, they had to be high-fiving and Trenton over that one. All right, this next one is really interesting, I think at least. And nobody wants to hear this, but if there's any profession here that's underpaid and we lose good people out of it, it is judges right now. And there's also another requirement. The judges at age 70 have to step away from the bench, even though you could argue, look at the lifetime of knowledge they have at that point. This would raise the retirement age from 70 to 80. If you had a chance to vote on this, how would you vote?
I would vote yes. I think that it's not like they got to go and play baseball or run around the field. They're sitting, in a chair, and as long as they're competent, the experience they have, there is something to be said about wisdom, and obviously the older I get, the more I value wisdom.
What about the argument that you lose something, using the sports analogy, off your fastball the older you get, and when you're deciding, cases involving, whether or not people are going away to jail here or their freedom, if the faculties ebb?
Well, the faculties ebb, that's one thing, but it is kind of a slow process. It's not, and the judge has the ability to say, slow down, talk soft. The judge is God in a court.
Yep.
And that's a little scary, given that a judge is God.
How'd you vote? I'd vote yes.
I don't know. I'm listening to the congressman and the wisdom that he brings sincerely, but I don't know if I would approve a judge staying on for 10 more years past the age of 70. I kind of think that maybe a mandatory retirement age is a good thing.
Well, but you think about it. We got presidents over 70, right? And these are the guys with the finger on the red button. You're saying to somebody they can't have a robe sitting in the front of the courtroom.
But there's an entire establishment around the president. There is not. You can't say an appellate system is around a judge, because if you can't afford an appeal, you don't have that appellate court.
But I will tell you, judges kind of monitor what other judges do. And
right, but Judge, if you don't have them, Judge, but Congressman, if you don't have,
what is this?
If you
Would
don't
you
have the money, if you don't have the money, for your $30,000 for your lawyer, another $30,000 for an appeal.
But what does that have to do with the age?
What it has to
touching
do?
a nerve here, yeah.
The other argument for the no side is that, boy, if you think incumbent politicians have a retention rate, a high retention rate, and they do in the 90s, the high 90%, judges almost never lose their seats, whether appointed or elected. And so you could make an argument that it's harder to get a judge off of the bench after years and years and years.
Okay, so how do you think people are going to vote on this?
I think they're going to vote yes. I think it's going to pass.
I think it's one of the few professions where everybody says, I'd rather have experience here than fresh blood, in that, you see a lot in the courtroom over a lot of years. And I trust the discretion of somebody who says, you know what, I've seen this kind of kid come before me in the past here. I know when to or when not to. I mean, it's not Solomon. No one's perfect here, but cut some slack. I understand both arguments, but I always thought numbers were a little bit arbitrary when it came to this. 70? We put 10 70-year-olds in front of us. They can run the gamut here.
There's also a dramatic shortage of judges on every level in state and
That's
federal
the other
level. The
practical
more
thing.
judges you have, the better off you are.
All right. When we come back, we're going to switch gears from politics, and of course, we'll be coming back to it throughout the evening, starting at 8 o'clock with our coverage. But when we come back, we can come back to a major issue, once again in our region here that we saw late last night. Gunshots ringing out in an area mall, and gun threats at local colleges and even high schools, and now elementary schools. Is this our new normal here? Well, we're going to get into that after this, and I have an idea that maybe won't fly, but at least I'm going to try it on the table. Stay with us.